Are you on a forklift?
Yeah, yeah.
You are a son of a bitch.
Un saluto a tutti.
Buongiorno Bianconeri. Welcome back to another pre-game session. We're getting ready for the second leg. Nantes and Juve happening today in France. I know that, man, if you look at social media, Juventini are all over the place, all right? All over the place. But we're going to tackle everything in the news. We're going to look at the build-up going into this one and have some fun as well. Of course, with the prediction challenge and whatnot. We're going to say what's up to everybody. I got, obviously, Anthony and Omer with me today. Fellas, how you feeling? You feeling good today? You feeling ready for this W or what?
Nervous.
Nervous. So Omer's on the nervous side. I feel pretty tranquil today.
I'm living the dream every day, Al. I got about 2 feet of snow to shovel outside, so there's that.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I don't have the gurgly guts yet. I'll get into it when we get into predictions. I think at that point, things will start moving. You know, the duodenum will start doing its thing. But right now, I'm still thinking about our pre-show conversation. Rush stinks, tragically hip, overrated.
Oh, my God. So the green room, we like to come out with some songs with her, but Rush today came up from Omer. I'm not a big Rush guy. Not a big.
No.
Well, it'd be interesting to hear what the chat thinks, Rush. But tragically hip, man, come on. They're underrated.
The Canadians are not standing up for their role.
Rush doesn't do it for me.
Rush doesn't
do it for me. Neil Peart, incredible drummer. But
dead.
Tragically hip, I will not stand for tragically hip slander. Okay.
Sit over there and wave your jersey around there.
I'm gonna say what's up to everybody. Michael Rao, ciao AGC, and fellow Juventini, Bob Yogasel, ciao, andiamo today. Hey, I hope we andiamo to the next round here, round of 16. Remo, ciao tutti, Forza Juve, let's grab the win today. Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Ciao, ciao. Let's go.
People
nice kits, boys. Yes. Omer rocking the gold. Yes, from 09-10 season.
Del Piero on the back.
What's that?
Del Piero on the back.
Del Piero on the back. Who could forget that performance? Right? Oh my God, Rasso! Come on,
my man.
Go get a PlayStation so I can beat the crap out of you on
my man
for that.
Comment. I wouldn't say shit, but I was telling you in the agreement. They're just constantly on the radio. It's just like, okay,
oh my God!
Just calm down.
You guys,
that's the guy saying the Beatles are overrated.
They are. Yeah.
You know, nothing. Don't smoke.
All right. Not turning this into the all rock and roll cast here. Let's get to Juve here. Pogba was apparently extremely close for making the trip to Nantes, but we should see him potentially in the Derby della Mola.
Can we quantify what close means? Like,
well, it was looking good. He had a game against, he had about a half hour, 40-minute session with Juve Next Gen, and he was running for the first time pain-free. That would be as close as we've probably gotten him. The fact that he had no pain, because the last time we thought we would see him in a game, he actually had pain just through the warm-ups. So, again, there we go. Well, it was close, but the Derby della Mola should be it, and apparently the stadium is going to be a packed house for that one as well. So,
I get pains in the warm-up for this show. So
Chiesa, on the other hand, was a shock because Chiesa was the one that was looking good and looking fine, and everything seemed promising leading up to yesterday when we were going to get the squad list, and then all of a sudden, boom, Chiesa out. Fans are in, I wouldn't say an uproar, but there is a bit of panic about Federico Chiesa, the fact that he can't get back in now again, and that there's more holdups, and then now everybody's questioning medical staff yet again and Juventus in general for what's going on. Guys, how do you guys feel about this whole Chiesa thing?
Can I start with this one?
No. Omar, just all you have to do is say tragically hip rock. Then you can start. I'm just kidding. Start
Omar,
off.
Go ahead, bud.
I'm kidding. Let's go.
Me. Yeah, I think just because ACL injuries are in the news a lot, people just think, oh, I'm just going to I'll just take my 7 months off, and because Chiellini did it, everybody can recover from it. It is a catastrophic injury to the knee. It's not like I know surgery has come a long way and like rehab techniques, but especially with an explosive player like Chiesa, he's going to have setbacks. And that's all this is. For me, it's just a slight setback. Give him a bit of rest. It hasn't really affected his play. He's been getting his minutes. He just needs to be shut down. And Al, help me out with the medical director, the new guy. Help me with his name.
Giovanni Andreini.
From everything we've seen since November, this is nothing new. They're going to shut them down. They're going to rest them. Realistically, we should not need Chiesa to win today's game. We shouldn't.
Yeah, so Ant is on the more positive side. I'll be
fair enough.
Not the negative one, but like, is it anything new? I mean, every player who had a serious injury in the past 5-6 years at Juve barely got back to standard playing time. If it was Demiral, Chiellini, Ramsey, Khedira, I mean, Dybala, everyone who had a serious injury. I mean, Juve might not know how to handle this type of situations nowadays. They knew back in the day. A lot of it is also depends on the player, I mean, and the way he treats his rehabilitation and stuff. And I wouldn't say I'm negative. I'm just not shocked that that it's happening. And like Ant said, it's still a serious injury, or one which I had never had. So can't honestly judge. Yeah, but you're not playing professional sports afterwards, so I have no idea what it takes to get back after that type of injury.
It's not easy.
Yeah,
you haven't been the best on handling players coming back from injuries in the
100%
past
agree with
couple of years.
Mm-hmm. But it's completely changed. Yeah, to Ant's point, like it's the one thing we've seen constant, at least since Andreini has kind of taken the reins, is that everything's slower. It's much, much slower. And if I think back to when we were waiting for Chiesa and the reports came back that we wouldn't see him until 2023, and everybody was like, no, you know what? Take your time. Take your time. He's our guy. He's our gun. Like, make sure he's good to go. Nothing's changed. They still have to make sure that they protect that asset, especially if you look at this team in general. And assets are very little, if you ask me. If you look at this roster, like, he is one of the biggest assets next to Vlahovic, obviously. Those are the two top assets that we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
Protecting them, makes 1,000% sense. The frustration of this being a do or die game and wanting him out there, sure. But it shouldn't change the general outlook that all fans pretty much shared throughout Chiesa's rehab, which was make sure this kid is good to go. Don't risk anything. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we've got him for a few minutes and then want him, of course, for this game, it shouldn't change the fact that we have to protect him and make sure that he is not risking anything further. That's how I see it. And I think it should be the same for everybody, really. I don't think it's an argument thing. I mean, the frustrations, sure, you could feel frustrated. I mean, I'd love to see him in there today, but if it's not in the cards and we're risking something, then I don't think twice about saying no. We go without Chiesa.
Yeah, I wouldn't presume to know what's the correct treatment and when he's able to play or not. It just sucks. I mean, we want to see him play. That's the only thing about it. I don't know, maybe some more expert opinion or anything. Maybe you can get someone who's like the referee you talk to after matches to give us even a bigger insight on that case.
But they still won't know because they're not actually hands-on going through it. And what's he feeling? What's happening? Like, none of us know. We're just told it's fatigue. Muscle fatigue.
Yeah, every case is different.
Yeah, that's to be honest, the guy has... So we saw Chiellini come back in almost half the time that they've waited for Chiesa. But that half the time, like longer, extended, without playing, without that intensity, without all the cutting and stopping and whatnot, the quick stops, it's going to take a toll. It's going to take him. Yeah. Like, it makes sense to me. This guy hasn't played in it was almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a
all
very
of a
different
sudden,
role.
like, to have some hiccups, like, I mean, it sounds about right.
Yeah, and it's a very different role. Yeah, like getting back to being a CB than an explosive attacker. I mean,
Yeah.
I can see why it takes longer for attackers to go back.
Yeah. And the other thing I think everyone's got to factor into is that these players do have a say as well, somewhat. So we saw in the All or Nothing Bonucci going to the opposite and putting himself in there and at risk when he probably shouldn't have. And he called himself out for it. He said, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Now, with what Chiesa's going through and still being so early on in his career, could we not see a situation where perhaps he gets a little nervous now at things that maybe he didn't used to think twice about, but now he might be feeling some on the pitch and he's like, oh, I don't really know. And maybe there's still some uncertainty and a little bit of fear there about the unknown, right? Like, that could also be a part of it.
I think a player has a say, but we're not behind the scenes. We're not going to get an all or nothing for this season. I think the club has been saying, whispering in his ear, like, listen, we got this season is what it is. You're here for the long term. We know you want to play in Europe this week, but we got other goals this season, and we need you to meet those other goals. We need to shut you down. I think it would be more of a mutual thing than people think.
Yeah. Now, with the Chiesa talk, it is what it is. We're going to have to deal without and see what happens. Before getting into lineups and what Max is going to try and dial up, okay, we're going to get to this one. And Joe kind of leads this one off with the comment that Allegri's job hangs in the balance today. Well, we start off this basic question. I'm going to have several spin-off questions, but does his job hang in the balance today, fellas?
It kind of is.
No.
I mean, he won't get fired immediately, even if he loses. But that's, according to recent reports, the management is looking at it. And I mean, if you're Juventus with that type of roster who invested so much money, and you can't even get past Nantes in the Europa League, then I don't know, maybe it's on you. Maybe you should take the responsibility and understand that a club like Juventus has ambitions that are far higher than that. And if you can't even give the club those simple tasks, then yeah, your job should hang in the balance.
Yeah. And Ant's saying no.
Well, like, he's not going to get
he won't get sacked today.
No, not
correct.
Immediately. Of course not.
So that's why does his job.
So let's
hang
take
in
this
the
to the end of the season. We got bounced in the Champions League group stage. For the sake of discussion, say it goes wrong today for Max and Juve. Season's end comes. What keeps him around, Anth?
A lot of stuff. So this is something that we were talking about in the group chat before, and I know a lot of people are going to have different opinions on this, and I don't think any of us. At the end of the day, none of us know what the answer is. We don't know, right? We're not the Juve management. We're not going to make these decisions. We just have to grin and bear it. But I think you also have to ask: is Max the right man for the job right now? And I think the answer for that is yes. And he's doing right now with this team good things. 15 to 23. Put Europe out of it. Just people are going to come in here and be like, we got bounced in Champions League. I got it. You have to win your domestic league first. You have to perform domestically first. Let's just focus on Serie A. 15 of 23 games, clean sheets, right? We had the 8 in a row. I think we're on a 5-game unbeaten now. That, I think his performance in Serie A, which should come first, is going to weigh heavily on management to keep him this summer because he is performing in Serie A. Really, we're in second place. right? You can minus the 15 points. We're in second place. A lot of people on here, including us, say that our lineup is garbage. We have a lot of dead weight, but he's still in second place, 15 and 23 games, clean sheets. So there's a lot of things that you can point to that Mac's doing good things. And I think in his, exit interview or interview to keep his job, he's going to put all this stuff out there and say, this summer, you get rid of the dead weight, you give me more players, I can do more. I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah,
but I think there's a lot of stats that say he's doing the best he can with what he has.
Is he the best guy for? Okay, so
no,
I brought in this discussion because for me, I feel like you can throw coaches and you could throw players at this thing for a while. And I said this in the group chat. I feel like we're at a point where until you reestablish your culture, your values, your standard, this is what we are asking for. This is it. Until you establish that, I think Juve is going to struggle. And I think we have to get back to finding the guys that suit the values that we want to go out and live by off the field and on the field.
And we have some of them.
Is Max the right guy for the culture? Is he the right guy for the Juve culture? You can argue easily yes, based on his previous tenure. But right now, when the team has to find that and reestablish, is he the right guy for the culture?
Everything that's going on, he's the right guy for the job right now because I think he's done a good job blocking everything out so the team can focus on the field. I don't think he's the right manager to your point. I agree. I don't think he's the right manager to reestablish the culture. I think he's a good maintainer. He's a good sustainer of what's But
and if
building, I don't think he's the guy.
This is how I see certain things and why I think it could affect the culture that we've lost right now that we want to get back to. You don't have to look very far other than a prime example of if you're trying to set the bar, set a standard based on performances, based on, this is the bare minimum I expect on the pitch all the time, even throughout. We used to know what it stood for at Juve. Players used to come in and knew what they were going to get demanded of, what was expected of them. And now it's starting to feel a bit like Club Med. Like a guy can come in here, get $7 million, shit the bed for a season, and he's still going to get his minutes. So for me, why I would have to lean towards not feeling Max being the guy to reestablish this is simply because of the fact that he had a kid and he helped make something out of what was a bad scenario, helped our midfield tremendously. And the second you got McKennie free again, you took that kid and sat him on the bench, which was such a detriment to the whole thing you're trying to establish and you're trying to work around. Take rotation, take all these things out of the equation. No. Fagioli missed a key game. He sat him down for McKennie, who did nothing up until that point at the center midfield position. The only good contributions McKennie had were at makeshift as a right wing back, for Christ's sake. This is why I don't think I would bank on him for being this guy to help reestablish things. Is just, I think he puts his trust in guys that are counterproductive to what you need to do and what you're seeing. And I don't know why he has certain trust in certain guys, but he's trusting guys to a fault and to his detriment. For me, that's a bit sketchy and a bit dicey, but that's just one situation I see. Omer, Ant, you guys can talk about that a bit if you feel the same.
Omer?
Look, you can't look at it only from one way and say, yeah, this is what should determine if he's staying here or not. It's not only a placement in the table. It's not only wins. It's not only playing pretty football. It's not only the future plans. It has to be like sort of a mix of all of them
Mm-hmm.
together, not 100% from each one, but a good combination of all. I think Max ticks maybe one of those boxes, which is the position in the table. Besides that, to be honest, as a fan, this is the least I've enjoyed watching Juve in 27 years. And it's not like I'm expecting tiki-taka Guardiola football. It's not what I'm looking for. But there's just something about the way we approach games. And it was before the 15 points deduction. I mean, it's not since we got deducted. It's from previous season. And well, Pirlo's season wasn't all that great, but I did enjoy watching the games. And we did end up with 2 trophies. Sarri won the Scudetto. Teams were different. Napoli weren't that good, and blah blah blah. All of these excuses. He didn't tick all the boxes either.
Yeah.
And he had the stuff with COVID in the middle. So everyone has stuff to deal with. Allegri is no different. I think I will give him credit because I don't know how many managers would have stayed after such a thing as the point deduction and all the investigations, and he did. And maybe that even prevented us from derailing the team even further. But if you look at the project, where we're aiming for, what the management is saying with all the youth and the players we want, and then you get, like Al said, a McKennie starting over Fagioli, even though Fagioli was one of the reasons we started winning again and looking like a team and brought enthusiasm, him and Moretti and Ealing and Sule and all the guys that just want to play. And you continuously bench them and you don't treat all the players in the roster with the same amount of respect, because Fagioli can make one mistake and be benched for 2 games, while Quadrado or Sandro or anyone can have a stinker
Castillo.
for Descilio for months in a row and still get the nod ahead of these guys.
Yeah.
So there are double standards the way he's, treating the roster, and I don't think that's good for Juve at the moment. I think we need someone who's in for a long run, for a project, and Max hasn't proved throughout his career that he is that type of guy.
Going back to mentality, going back to culture. It's funny. We looked at that game with Liverpool going up early 2-0. And I said,
I didn't watch it.
This is the difference between these teams. Not to compare quality alone on the pitch, but it's so much up here. If Juve falls down 2-0, their thought process is
game's over.
Don't allow 10. That's our frame of mind. Don't allow 10. You get another team, okay, and their mentality is, okay, let's get back in, because you know how quick you can score goals. Obviously, their quality is, we can't put our roster with that of Reals. But when it comes from a mentality standpoint and getting down, getting the work done, going out there and, just not giving up, I always say teams for me are reflections of their coaches. For me, it's like we would simply be there and, okay, let's not concede, whatever. And it would feel like that Napoli game, to be honest. When it started to go wrong, it's like, okay, let's just not get blown away here rather than, hey, let's step on. And we did. We did for like 10, 12 minutes at the end of that first half. Second half came out flat and safe, and they just dominated and took it to us. And it's just, for me, we're never going to take a step in the right direction. It's always going to be too safe, too one-sided. Teams don't have, and I hate this discussion that goes around about beautiful football, attacking football. It's like defensive football can be beautiful football as well. This team needs to go through the gears.
Yeah.
They have to go through the friggin' gears, okay? You have to know when you can defend and when you can turn it on, when you have to turn it on. But the fact is that there's no switches at Juve. It's this for Max Allegri. It is this the whole way through. The odd times we can get that for 10 minutes, but we can't sustain it. And I don't know what the hell it is, but it's not working. It's not right. You can't tip the scale. You can't also be attacking for an entire game and just like you can't play that manner anyways. You can't have that needle breaking off to either degree, defensive or offensive. But if you're looking at this team and balance and frame of mind and everything, it's pretty stale for me. It's right like this. We never really dial it up or whatnot. And mentally, this is the scary part. Mentally, we are the type of team that is fragile. And the numbers don't lie in the sense of when we concede, we are weak because our record shows it that when we concede. This team, the 1-0 whatever, 1-0 victories that we all get there that Max like lives and dies by, Jesus Christ, man, those are a grind. And you can't take them, you just can't expect to make a living that way in today's game.
Yeah, I would disagree with the mentally weak one because to hold leads, you can't be mentally weak, and they've done that a lot this season. So I sort of disagree with that one.
Barely, though. What are we talking? We're still conceding chances left, right, and center. Ones that, to be honest, better teams punish us. Better teams have punished us on the scoreboard. Look at a lot of those games. Take Lazio and Inter out of there. You haven't stopped a good team from scoring. Take Lazio, and even Lazio is a loose statement there, whatever. But like, what, you want to take Inter out of there? Take those teams out of there. And
I just think, okay, let me just start with the end. With a new management this summer, he's most likely gone. Let me just put that out there. But as a whole, right? Let me give you these numbers. I think just pinning it on Max isn't fair because I still don't think this roster is good enough. I think just saying, I think there's an argument to be made that Max is doing the best he can with the roster that he has. So starting in 2018, just Serie A, so Allegri's last season was 28 wins. Just wins. 28, then we won 26, then we won 23, then we won 20. And so far this season, we won 14 games. This team over the past 4 or 5 years is winning less games. So there's a bigger problem there than just Max. The team's just not good enough. So to come out here and say it's all Max, I don't think that's fair to Max. Okay, I get what you're saying that we have issues, but still 15 to 23 games clean sheets. I think he's doing the best he can. I think he's done the best he can with the team that he has. And there's more culture has to be changed. I get it. Roster has to be updated.
Saying, like, you're telling me this team is mentally strong.
Stronger than you're giving them credit for.
I don't see it.
Right. I do. Well, I do think it's I mean, of course, it's not only Allegri and the players have their faults in every game and overall the way they treat each other, the dressing room. It's not only Max, but the same way you expect Rabiot to perform the best out of all our midfielders because he gets paid the most. If Max is the top paid guy in the team and the top paid manager in the league, maybe not the top, but one of the top paid managers in the league, I expect results. I mean, if not, then Pirlo earned 1 million, 1.8 a season and still produced with all the problems that he had. So I do expect different stuff from Max. And like Al said, I mean, the team is a reflection of the coach. Real Madrid is a great example because Ancelotti didn't seem a bit bothered by going down 2-0. So his team didn't seem bothered by it.
And this is it for me. Mentality, like strong to hold a lead or strong when you go down, because this team is not strong when we go down. They look flustered. They look rattled. They look rattled. They look like they know that they might not tie it up. That's what I see. And that's against weak opposition too. It's not against like strong teams. Like they look scared, like they might not tie it against weak teams. I don't see us as being mentally strong. I mean, they've had to endure a lot of crap this year. That's for sure. But I don't see this strong mentality coming through the guys. And this is not just singling out this season. This is multiple. But again, you've got coaching changes and a lot of mismanagement. I don't know. I think the culture is in the shitter right now. And it needs to be brought back. And I think it all starts there. Because if it doesn't start there, what the hell is Max even preaching? Like, what's he doing? Like, it's not going to matter. You have to have something that we're all living and dying by, and then it trickles down the line and everybody else pushes it. And when you get players that come in, they either, hey, you're in or you're out. It's that simple, because that's the way it used to be at Juve. But right now, it hasn't been. But I don't know if I would say that this team is mentally strong. I don't know if I would say that. I can't say that. Looking at the performances, looking at the teams that we consistently struggle with, looking at the first leg of this matchup we're going to dive into right now, where we dominate them and have one goal to show for, and then have a slew of errors to allow them to equalize on one opportunity that they probably had to capitalize all game. That is not a mentally strong team, in my opinion.
No, that's a team that can't score.
Yeah, they always look like whenever we concede
their will.
Whenever we concede, they look like they have no idea where 2 goals for a win are going to come from. Maximum of 1 goal to tie things, but they don't seem like they believe in their strength to win. Now, I mean, there are teams in the league with far lesser roster, not as good as Juve, who perform tremendously. Look at Lecce. Lecce are, newly promoted side. They're killing it, especially against big teams. We barely won against them. They got results against Napoli, against Inter, against Roma. I mean, these guys, they're just trained well. And that's the thing about Juve. Allegri tries to keep the mentality that we are the best. And if you're not the best, if you're one of the weaker sides out of the top 6, let's say, you got to know where your strengths are. And Max doesn't know where Juve's strengths are. He doesn't know how to utilize the players that he does have and when to use them correctly, subs, everything. And that sucks, because that's how smaller teams do it. They know where their strength is and they use it whenever they need to. That's how they keep their head afloat. Max doesn't know how to do it.
Europa League qualifier versus 13th place team in French League being treated like a final. That's how low we've got. Hey, to be honest, the fact that we've got Chiesa missing for this game, the fact that none of us can go into this thing feeling like, oh yeah, it's not a problem. Juve is going to come out, walk away with this thing.
Not on this panel.
Shows you. Because, man, like any other time leading up to previously of these past 3-4 seasons where it's just been disarray and this team just cannot find the gears. I don't know. There was struggles, like Omer pointed out, between Sarri season, Pirlo season. Like, there was problems. And again, it's still all rooted to the mismanagement up top. Because I started saying during Sarri and Pirlo, I said, for the amount of money we pulled out of Champions League during that reign, the roster didn't reflect it. So there was definitely mismanagement. But for me, the culture should never, ever be sacrificed. But it did kind of slide. A lot of people tie in CR to that as well, but that's a whole separate discussion. Nantes and Juve today, away from home. If you're betting, man, here's your odds. Nantes to win pays 4.5 times your money. A draw, 3.5. Juve winning just shy of 2 times your money, okay? Nantes, since the first leg that we played them, got beat up by Lens 3-1 on Sunday, okay?
Good team.
Sorry?
I have no idea who you just said they lost to. I just said they were a good team, but I have no idea.
Lens there, 3-1, ripped them apart. Nantes will be without the services of Ignatius Ganago and Quentin Merlin. Lightning fast attacker Moses Simon's going to be back, but not starting. Moses Simon will not be starting. Not expected to anyways. 3-5-2 out of Nantes. They're probably going to set up in that 5-man wall we saw in Turin again. So, hey, our fate might lie in the feet of Angel Di Maria to help crack that. He's going to be crucial. 3-5-2 expected for Nantes: Lafont, Castelletto, Girotto, Palois, Centonze, Sissoko, Chirivella, Mutasami, Coco, Blas, and Mohamed. essentially, pretty much the exact same. Now, for Juventus, we know where we're at. We got, again, a win that we can't really take a whole lot of confidence out of, but got the job done. Rotation-wise, there was some rotation in the lineup. So, again, nothing that we could really take into this one. What's expected out of us for the lineup? Really, I'm only seeing one potential mix, and that's whether Vlahovic or Keane starts. But everything else seems to be the same. You've got Szczesny, Danilo, Bremer, Sandro, De Sciglio set to start. And then Fagioli, Locatelli, Rabiot, Kostic, Di Maria, and like I said, one of Vlahovic or Keane. First off, do you guys believe the rumors of Keane potentially starting, or you think there's absolutely no way you go without Vlahovic in this one?
I wouldn't be surprised if he does start. I mean, Max is speaking really highly of him for the past 2 months. And Vlahovic, he's been hot and cold since coming back. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts Keane. In fact, I would probably bet on it.
What would you do?
Oh, I would start Vlahovic hands down.
Anthony, your thoughts on
Keane?
You
got to start your best striker. But to Omer's point, and to someone mentioned in the comments here, I think it was in Allegri's presser, Allegri brought up 120 minutes. Again, I know people are saying, hey, Max is playing for the draw, but you have to do a risk analysis. You're away from home. The potential for a draw is higher. There's no away goals rule, right? So any draw, it automatically goes to extra time. I don't think he's playing for extra time, but I think he's weighing it that, okay, Dusan, I can get 90 minutes, but I'd rather start Keane and bring Dusan in later in the event that it goes to extra time. I have him for penalty shots. So risk reward, right? I think that's the only reason why he's going that route. I don't agree with it. I would start Dusan to go after it from the beginning, but I think that's the way Max is thinking. You can agree with it or you can't, or you don't. But
yeah,
that's the only reason I can see why he'd start Keane. That's the
I
only
literally
reason.
spent all this time talking about how I see this team mentally and being a reflection of your coach. And you're going to play the 13th side in the French league, and you're going to sit Vlahovic for Moise Keane.
Correct.
In terms of anticipating a draw in extra time and stuff. And for me, it's a backwards way to play the game and the mentality. But
again, we don't know we don't know if that's the reason. But I think it's
we can make excuses.
We can make assumptions or whatnot, but regardless, what sets the tone more is taking a chance on Keane for apparently more versatility, which I would honestly strongly argue that the difference between those two in terms of versatility and what you get out of Keane is, because I'm going to say no. I'm going to very, very much disagree and challenge that he's more versatile to the point where you don't start Vlahovic against Nantes. I know performances have kind of been down, but the last time we saw these two, they played together and they made a mess of it together because they're similar. But I don't know, man. And if we can't, I'm scared, because if we can't go with Vlahovic against Nantes in the second tie of Europa League, then what the hell did we spend that much money on him for? If now all of a sudden you can't play this guy because you think Keane is going to be better for the group, like, then all of a sudden I have a whole different issue coming up. Because now all of a sudden I'm extremely concerned if we're backing out of playing this guy, if he's fit, 100% fit, that we can't go with him in this game. It's like, what? Really?
And he's the center of the project.
Yeah. That's what scares me probably more than anything.
Yeah, I have a question for you. I have a question for you and the chat. What would you prefer? Getting eliminated against Nantes or getting beat by Man City or Real Madrid to 5-6 goals in the Champions League? What would be worse for you? I mean, don't look at the entire thing, just as a feeling, as a fan. What would make you feel worse?
what would make me feel worse is losing
Yeah.
this one today.
Okay.
The drubbing.
Because
I feel worse about a big
I
drubbing.
know how far we are from those teams in Champions League.
Oh,
But
miles.
Nantes, there's no way we're behind Nantes.
Yeah, and
But
it's
the
not even
fact is,
quarterfinals.
mentally, up here, this team isn't above Nantes. That's the problem. On the pitch, fuck, man, we should be winning. We should have won the first game comfortably.
Nantes have nothing to lose. That's their advantage. Getting eliminated to Juve is it's not
Yeah.
disappointing, and they're 13th place, so they don't fight for anything anyway.
So
I mean, that's their mentality. How do we match that?
before we do predictions, before we do Storm the Barn, like Nantes, we'll go through some key stats. They haven't advanced from a knockout round tie in a European competition since 2001. So that
We're pretty
really
close to
plays
that.
into Omar's point about they have nothing to lose.
Zero.
Absolutely nothing. The pressure, everything is on Juve, and this ties into why we can be a little nervous because, again, how this team reacts and whatnot, we don't know. We don't know. I said in the first leg, and nothing changed in the second. This is Juventus versus Juventus. It's a battle with themselves that if they can be that favorite, if they can be that top dog, because we haven't been all season. In the games we go into where we should be the top dog, we definitely don't play with it. We don't act like it, and we just haven't been. So you don't know what Juve you're going to get. It's that's the truth of it. We'll see what happens. Nantes have allowed only 7 goals in the last 13 matches, but have conceded 3 in one game against Lens over the weekend. So honestly, whatever, if you take that out, decent for as far as they're at least not conceding a bunch. 3 matches in Europe. Nantes is currently unbeaten, and Juventus have won only 1 of their last 9 in Europe. 2 draws and 6 losses in their last 9 in Europe. That is shocking.
We're awful in Europe.
That is
We are.
shocking.
Yeah, well.
Conceding 2 goals per game on average during that run. When you start to think about the numbers that we've been highlighting over the past few shows about when this team concedes, we could be nervous. We could be nervous.
And it's not like it all happened against world beaters, Bayern Munich and stuff. I mean, it happened against relatively easier teams.
Yes. The Bianconeri have lost each of their last 3 away games in Europe during that as well. So the last 3 away have all been L's.
Which is weird because we're good on the road in Serie A. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like,
but again,
if something happens when we go into Europe, it's just like a complete.
Serie A in Europe is, and that's why, like, some fans will say they've been seeing this for a while, and like the game in Serie A is a lot different. And look at the formation and the setups. People have questioned 3-5-2 for European play or anything like that. But if you look across Serie A, a lot of teams are playing that now because it's easy to set up your block and whatnot, go from there. But in Europe, it's not really used a ton, other than the smaller sides that are trying to protect themselves against those bigger teams or more talented teams. But I don't know. Juve's got to put it together. They have to win this one. They absolutely have to. But these numbers are shocking. Things are struggling and going bad, but when you hear 1 win out of their last 9 in Europe, that's crazy to me to be talking about Juve in that manner.
Yeah, and it's also like, I get the Serie A is different from European football, but the other Serie A teams are doing fine. I mean, they also have the same, maybe dealt even a tougher hand than ours. I mean, Porto is better than Nantes, Tottenham, everyone. But Milan and Inter and Napoli can make that switch in their head that it's different, it's a different type of team, and they can win those games and approach those games differently. We can't. Our form in the league directly reflects on our form in Europe. And that's a huge problem because since who's that guy in the Bible who lost his hair and became weaker? I think that's what happened to Max. The second he lost his hair, downward spiral.
Come on. Are you hey,
Downward spiral.
easy, man. Easy.
It's,
Easy. The hair.
I'm losing
Think
my
we-
hair. I mean,
drawing a
maybe I've
blank.
gotten worse. I don't know.
All right, guys.
Someone help us out with that. What's the guy's name?
Player to watch. For me, it's simple. Di Maria.
Samson. There we go.
Samson, yes.
Our fate will lie at the feet of Di Maria in this one. I can't help but feel that way. Do you guys feel differently? Do you think someone else is gonna be the guy?
No, I mean, it was evident against Spezia. When he plays, it's different.
Yeah.
Help me out. Did he start the last leg?
No.
I can't remember.
Oh, the last leg, yeah.
Did he start? Yeah. Yeah, he's the guy, man.
Yeah.
He got pulled out, and when he did, it was struggle for creation. You felt it dramatically.
I got a question for you guys. Do you think I'm gonna say when we win this leg? I'm gonna be positive here. When we win this leg, do you think this could be the spark for Juve in Europe? Because we have this second round knockout boogeyman in our, on our back for years. Do you have any confidence that this would spark us into a run in Europe?
I
have very little confidence.
I can't answer that. I mean, because it's not even the round of 16. I mean, it's even a level below. It's the round of 32.
It depends how, for me. It depends how.
Yeah.
If this win is convincing, it absolutely could be something that sparks things. But if it's not convincing, and I think we see the same Juve that you won't know what you get on any given day or any given game. But if it comes in a convincing fashion, we might be able to spark something.
Yeah.
Now, with all this said, all this build up and everything, and going through the stats, going through all the discussions, it's time to put our money where our mouth is and see where we stand as far as predictions. And I can even start things off. I'll start this one off if you guys want, and then you guys can fire away. Yep. I am going to say Juve concedes first, and Nantes gets one. Juve wins a grind. Get ready for an absolute friggin' grind, but Juve wins 2-1. Juve will win this game 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My predictions recently haven't been good, to say the least, but I predicted Juve wins. So let's go the other route. I'm thinking a draw. I think Juve will scrape through on penalties or maybe a late goal in extra time, but my guess is penalties.
Okay.
Tell you the score. I don't know. I think it's like a 1-1 or a 2-2. I think we'll have more than one goal this game.
If we go 2-2, we're through.
No
aggregate. Oh, they got rid of the aggregate.
There's no way anymore.
Every draw
you're
takes
right.
us.
Yeah,
every draw takes us to penalties.
That's right. That's right.
Penalties. Yes,
I forgot they got rid of the away.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Yeah, if we want to go through in 90 minutes, we have to win. That's
Gotta
as
win.
simple as that.
Gotta win. Totally forgot they got rid of away goals. Wow. Ant, what's your prediction?
I'm right down the middle with you two. So I already wrote these down. I'm not writing them down right now. So I had 2-1 Juve with the second goal coming in extra time. I don't think we're going to PKs, but I think this is going to go to extra time. I'm going to go under 6.5 yellows total for the game. Under 6.5. And I got Danilo with a goal at plus 2,700.
Jesus.
So I also have a parlay bet here, which is going, and this is close to what you guys were all saying. I have over 1.5 total goals in the game. both teams to score, and a halftime draw at plus 391.
All right.
I think it's going to be 0-0 at halftime. That's why I think it's going to be KG.
Let's see how the chat's feeling. Reminder, everybody, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Obviously, if you're new here, whatnot, we got you covered on everything. Juve, Jeremiah, 3-2 for Juve. Di Maria, Rabiot, Fagioli, 13 attempts, 6 on target. This will be a crazy game. Wow.
I really want Juve to go 3-0, something convincing, even 2-0 before halftime to keep it, simple.
Luca coming in 2-1 Nantes. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here. What the hell? 1-0 Juve. And I don't say this confidently.
None of us are saying anything confidently. Let's just put it that way. We all agree.
No, 2-0.
Keane, then Dusan off the bench. Everybody just got home from work. Juve 2-0. We got a 3-0 here from Ahmad. Okay. Dell's coming in 0-0 through everything. 5-4 Juve in penalties. Holy.
Not a lot of 1-0s out there, right? Everyone's like, it's either going to be KG close or a blowout.
3-0 Juventus, guys. Be positive. Be positive. Hey.
Marilyn Monroe, nice.
Remo, 2-0. Di Maria and Keane, 15 attempts, 4 on target. Okay. So it's a lot of wins. There's some grinding scorelines out there. And then we have some high scorelines. Alex P dropping in his 3-0. All right. Let's get Storm the Barn. So before we get to the live chat and them firing in their Storm the Barn questions, I'm going to ask you guys first. Do you have any questions on anything we might not have looked at, might not have touched on that you want to address? Omer? And
I got a quick one. If people always complain about the referees in Europe, I got the referee stats if anybody wants to hear it. Spanish referee Jose Maria Sanchez Martinez is our referee today. He's done 153 La Liga games, 66 La Liga 2, 13 Europa League games, 3 Champions League games, and 2 World Cup qualifying UEFA games. Not a lot of European experience, but he has given a total of 0 red cards in any European tie, and he averages 5.73 yellows per game. So he's not quick with the yellow, doesn't look like. 5 to 6 per game. So hopefully he can manage it well.
Anybody see that Josko Vardiol goal? Yeah, make you feel a certain way about Bremer's foul there?
Yep.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Consistency here.
I'm just saying he doesn't have a lot of European experience, but again, he's not quick on the draw with the cards either, which is
that's not comforting. I mean, eventually it falls down to VAR decisions. I mean, every big decision today is attributed to VAR and not specifically the referee.
Okay. What was the last European game we had where we didn't it was just like a smooth sailing game? You didn't even notice the ref, and you didn't even need VAR. I can't even remember one.
Maybe Maccabi Haifa in the
when we're just getting we were losing those games. Yeah, such a long time ago.
Let's see. We got some Storm the Barns. Let's see if Anth, can you make an argument as to if we bow out tonight? Knock on wood. Hopefully that does not the case. But what's the case for keeping Max? Even with the loss, if a loss comes tonight, hopefully, obviously not, but
he's not getting fired today. There's no way we could lose 10-0 today.
No, beyond keeping him beyond. What is an argument to keep him beyond?
Serie A record. I'm just gonna say I'm gonna put myself in Max's seat to say if I have the Juve management across the table, I'm gonna put up. Look, this is the Serie A record. These are the players I had. Look what I did with these players. Paredes was a mistake, probably partially my fault. We got to get rid of him. Here are the players I want to bring in. He's going to make a case for himself for Serie A, and then, but the European thing, he doesn't have a leg to stand on. Like it's been very, very poor. So, if he makes the argument about a rebuild. Right, here's the players. Look, we're starting with the core again, with the Italian core. This is what I can do with these players. He can just point to stats, but to your guys' point, aesthetically, it does not look good. It doesn't look good. It's effective, but it doesn't look good.
Yeah. Omer, if
I
let's
don't
say
know.
you were Max, right now, all the numbers, you're trying to defend your job. What do you use to defend your job?
I make great coffee. I do carpools. I mean, there's not, like Ant said, he doesn't have a leg to stand on. I mean, yeah, we made it to Champions League last season. Okay, that's like the high point of the season. Nothing to look for beyond that. I doubt they don't see everything we're seeing and talking about. Make a case for Allegri to stay. It's a tough one. It'd be easier for me to make a case for the Chilio to stay.
See, this is where I take a little bit of offense. He's still our manager. Like, he's our club's manager. So you should want him to succeed. Now, I don't
want him to succeed. I want Juve to succeed.
Correct.
I can barely attribute Juve's success right now to him, what we would call success nowadays.
Yeah.
I can barely attribute it to him. So he doesn't make Juve better, and that's a reason for me to let him go.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy. I mean, he took care of the club and he had some great years, and I'm thankful for it. But we need to look forward, not backwards.
I don't see how 15 of 23 games with clean sheets can't be attributed to him. It doesn't look good. I get it. But we can't give him zero credit. You can't just say he gets no credit. Like, I don't get it. I really don't.
30%.
You can't tell if he's punching up or down. I mean, you can't tell me that a different manager wouldn't have done better. Maybe it's the minimum. Maybe this is
they might have done worse.
Minimum. Maybe this is the bare minimum you can do with this team.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Luca's got a question. It's not even really a question. Odds of refs screwing us over.
Over, Luca. Put money at 1,200 if you could find that bet. What a stupid
Whatever.
question.
Hopefully that's not the case. Raz, what do you guys think of the idea that shit still hasn't hit the fan when it comes to the ongoing investigations and things could get much worse? So I'm still feeling the same I always have on this, even since day one. I feel very, very fine in terms of the plusvalenza stuff. I feel more than fine with that.
Really?
If we're going to talk about the salary case, the salary maneuver, the Prisma, that's where it gets a little interesting. But of course, the latest reports say that it's pretty hostile. Like, that case is pretty hostile in terms of the prosecutors and what they want to push for and what they're going for. However, was again reiterated, does not affect Juve's registration for the championship. So while I expect fines, penalties, and to be honest, big problems for the individuals that were involved throughout that, I don't expect a lot in terms of the sporting side domestically. In Europe, I do expect penalties out of the salary case, but
100% disagree with you, because Italy is a clown show and they'll find a way to minus 30 points.
You can't come out and say it doesn't affect registration and championship. You can't not have FFP rules, which they do not follow. You can't have all this stuff not actually there. So much has happened that has helped Juventus. These clowns having a meeting to actually try and make up a rule about plusvalenza and then coming out being like, shit, we can't do it.
No idea. Yep.
That's brilliant for us, everybody. Like, there's more and more that happens that's like just fueling. It should be fueling Juve's fire, we should be firing back. I said it from day one. They should have pushed back with like fierce vengeance from the get-go, and they didn't. But more and more that happens is actually helping us because these guys can't figure it out. Then you have Gravina and you have the CEO coming out saying like, yeah, there's nothing there for these. We're shocked that it happened so quickly. What do you mean you're shocked? You're the fucking FIGC president, and you're the CEO of the league that handed in the penalty. What are you talking about? You hope it's overturned? Well, then get to your friggin' office and sign the paperwork, and let's go. It's a joke, but I honestly, from a sporting side, I'm not terribly concerned when it comes to domestically. Europe, I think we can expect some major problems, especially with the Super League, though. That's kind of starting to get a spark. That might be, again, another thing that helps Juventus. But I don't think it's going to matter because I think the Super League's going to happen.
It's coming.
And I think that they're going to try to launch this thing in the summer.
Now, there was a report. And again, shout out to Lou and this guy down here, Omer, for pumping out the news every morning for all you people. Show a little bit of appreciation to these two. There was a report that said UEFA and Juventus was saying they're in constant contact with UEFA and those conversations are going well. There's no issues. We're keeping them up to date, and UEFA's had no issues to this point. I believe there was something that came out last week on that from our news feed. So
yeah, I think in regards to the question, I think the correct answer is right in the middle between both your answers. I mean, yeah, Al is 100% right. There are signs that they're not satisfied and start rethinking that penalty and the lack of a law against what you have done.
No law.
The Plus Valenza case is, I mean, even in Calciopoli, we got -30 and then we got some points back. Even when it was something
15.
Yeah, even when it was something that big, we still got some of the points back. So I'm kind of confident in the Plus Valenza case. The Prisma investigation is a whole other story that may or may not affect Juventus. Now, as Ant said, it's Italy, and you don't know what to expect. We can't know what to expect, and Italy seems to be just divided and has always been divided between Juve fans in strong positions against people who are not Juve fans in strong position. That seems like the way the Italian system works. So I think the correct answer is somewhere in between. Yeah, we can be positive, but we also need to remember that it's Italy and nothing should shock us by this point.
Yeah. All right. Somewhere in the middle. Storm the barn.
I mean,
do you think Juve is still looking at Milinkovic-Savic? We already have Kostic-Vlahovic. Why not grab another Serbian that hopefully can unlock our offense if the Pogba project fails? Well, that's just it. Many feel that we kind of tied ourselves to Pogba and that the SMS train kind of went off track. But I didn't see it financially until this guy becomes free, to be honest. If Juve...
I don't see a big splash this summer. I think with Rovella, Cambiaso, who else? I think they're going to focus on bringing back the youngsters in the middle and at the back to reload. I don't think we're going to make a big splash.
Honestly, I don't think the midfield is our biggest issue right now.
In the summer, center back, full back, like those are going to be high priority.
Wingers, if Di Maria leaves, a striker, if Dusan leaves, I mean, there could be tons of other stuff. Midfield is where we're most set with talent and youngsters and the guys with the right character. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, the SMS thing is, I think Lotito would rather throw him into the river than sell him to Juve for a low price.
Yeah.
And he'll look for someone to buy him outside of Italy easily. He could easily say yes to Arsenal or anyone. Just don't sell him to Juve. That seems to be his agenda.
Yeah. No SMS from Raso. I don't know, man. I feel like SMS in general hung on to Lazio too long for his personal.
I got to storm the barn for you.
But
this guy's brain isn't fully formed yet, and he's talking to me about how to pronounce names. All right.
We sent him a dictionary.
Yeah.
No, it's.
Who cares?
I mean,
He's still
to
trying
be
to figure out
absolutely-
what part of Canada he's in.
Yeah, grow up, Luca.
His geography.
Yeah.
Piss poor.
I think you're right. I think SMS stayed at Lazio maybe 2 years too long,
Mhm.
and I don't know. Maybe it's just we failed to give up on luxuries we can have, and that might be another one. Maybe we can buy him and pay him the amount he wants, but I don't see how it benefits the project and the rest of the team.
I think to your point, I think that ship sailed. I think we have other
Yeah.
holes to fill.
Andrew, Juve coming in. Is it true we're linked with Dybala again, or is it just so the rumors? Like, it's funny when Juve trends, they find everything to latch onto Juventus. So Dybala will have somewhere around a 12 million euro clause, but that clause is not for Italian clubs. So is Juve actually linked with Dybala again? Nothing's been coming out from any top sources about Juve and links to Dybala. And then when it comes to the release clause is not 12 million for Italian clubs. So again, they're taking one thing, which is true. He has a 12 million euro clause, but then they're still linking, Juve and struggles and Di Maria moving on. And they just try and put pieces together to get clicks and everything like that. But do not expect Dybala coming back.
Honestly, this has been something that have been brought up only by fans, because I do the news. Then I see the papers every morning, and all the guys who are posting Juve news, zero of them has make the connection between him and Juve want to buy him again. The only thing they said is that he has a 12 million release clause, and then fans started asking the question, would you bring him back for that fee? But nothing has been reported to even suggest Juve are considering bringing Dybala back.
Yeah. I think so. We got one more. Do you guys think De Winter will come back next season as a starter? I would say no.
As a starter?
Not as a starter.
No, hard to see it.
Come back
I
next
honestly
season?
think if anybody makes a surprise jump, it would be Houston from everything I'm hearing from. And I still don't think that we would see that. But
he's 17?
Yeah.
18? He just turned 18?
He's causing some waves. He's causing some serious waves for sure. So, but I don't expect De Winter back. Not a starter. No,
dead man.
No. Things could change though. Things can always change. Hey, we got you. Everybody, like the video. Again, if you're new, subscribe. Now let's go with a little off key here with Michael Raz. I always love when Michael goes a little off here. Favorite rock band? Okay, Anthony, since you want to shoot down a couple this morning, what's your favorite band?
I listen to all different types of music, so I
listen to everything. So it's very.
But if I had to put one in, like
flat out favorite.
Yeah, I don't know. If I need one pregame, I'd probably throw Metallica in if I needed a pregame one. Like a pregame one, like you gotta get the juices flowing. I'd probably put Metallica in. Still regret not being able to go see them live because I was offered a ticket, but I was a week post knee surgery, and there's no way with the crutches I could have done the stairs, but I still should have done
them
it.
live.
Yeah,
I
heard they're awesome live.
In 2010, yeah, I've seen them. I've seen Iron Maiden live. I've seen a lot of bands live.
Yeah, I've seen Maiden a few times. I've seen the original Black Sabbath at Ozfest in 2005. They headlined with Iron Maiden. It was unreal.
Steel Panther, awesome live.
Steel Panther is awesome live.
I've seen a lot. I don't know. For me, just Chili Peppers are one of my favorite bands. Red Hot Chili Peppers are one of my favorite bands because of the different. What?
I've seen them live too.
Yeah, they're one of my favorites. Metallica's up there for sure. Iron Maiden is up there for me. Those are probably some three I'll throw out there.
I've seen Motley Crue live. Yeah.
System of a Down. I'm a big System of a Down fan. I love System of a Down. Motley Crue. I see Motley Crue. Yeah. I was scared that I lost my hearing permanently out of my left ear because Nikki Sixx destroyed his bass guitar, and I was 7th row right in front of that massive damn speaker, and it just dropped me to the ground and pierced my ear. It was crazy, but
they're a
wicked
good show
nonetheless.
Yeah, they're a good show live.
Wicked show nonetheless.
Yeah.
But
Yes. So
yeah,
if it's exclusively rock, then I have to go with Muse. But I'm a big metal guy. I've been a drummer. I've studied drums for 6 years. I play guitar. I play piano. Play all types of stuff. I'm a big
See, Luca?
metalhead. I can go all the way from, I don't know, Britney Spears to Morbid Angel and Cannibal Corpse. I'll try to listen to everything.
Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah,
Pearl Jam's.
but hands down, maybe the only one giving them a run for their money is Iron Maiden, but there isn't a better live band than Nightwish. And if you don't know Nightwish or haven't heard of them, go check out one song from one of their shows. It's absolutely amazing. Dive into the lyrics, into the musicianship. These guys are absolutely phenomenal. They have the best singer in the world, and they're just a masterpiece. Every song is a blast.
Okay,
Foo Fighters were a great live show too.
Not Nightwish.
I think we have. I'm going to do this one real quick and throw a shock in there for you, there, Michael Razzo. But Tragically Hip, easily, and it's not even close at the top there. Nickelback's second, then Theory of a Dead Man, and there's a large gap from the Hip to Nickelback. But Nickelback definitely had a Theory of Dead. Nickelback, it's cool to hate, but I tell you, if you go back to when nobody knew about them, and you listen to those, they were unreal for hard rock songs and stuff like that. And then Kroger figured out how he was going to make a lot of money, and that's what he started doing. But their original stuff, underground, I'm telling you.
Started dating Avril Lavigne. I mean,
come on. Now, let's get to favorite kits last 5 seasons.
Last 5 seasons.
Last 5 seasons, favorite kits.
Okay, let's go from bottom to top. The most hated one was probably the orange one.
I'm just gonna go top 5 kits of the last seasons. I can't put them in regular order or whatnot, but that blue one, that light blue one we had was pretty cool. I actually liked it with almost like the silver. With almost silver highlights in it, was actually kind of cool. I didn't mind that one. So 18, 19, it looked like an H almost, that home kit, because of the Jeep block. And then we had the 2 thick stripes. So I don't know if I throw that in.
I didn't like it.
Last year's home kit was slick. I like that one. I would put that one in there. The black one was also nice too, I thought, with the different colored highlights.
This year's alternative is not bad. That one with the pink, the red, the sort of red one.
Yeah. I don't mind that one at all, to be honest. This year's home, I actually like. The stripes are not traditional, but I actually really like it, to be honest.
Probably my favorite one would be that gray one. I don't know if it was Ronaldo's first season or second season. It was the gray one with the yellow writing.
I hated the half and half. Maybe that was the worst. With the pink stripe in the middle, that was awful.
Oh, yeah. I think this one's up there for me.
Yeah, that one. That's probably the best one in the past 5 years. Yeah.
Definitely up there.
Yeah. That's a sick one. I kind of like the one we have this season, but last season was fine.
Fair enough.
That the one you were talking about? It's kind of that beige?
No, I was talking about the other one you brought.
Look at what a beauty, too.
Oh,
what a guy.
That's class.
My man.
What a guy.
That's class. I mean, Al can pull up 180 different kits right now.
Yeah. We don't have time for that. I gotta work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
one is that? 2 days available.
Sweet home kit.
Oh.
Anyways, I agree with the Palace edition.
Thanks for joining me. Oh, Al's back. All right.
All right. But yeah, those are definitely them. Definitely them. Everybody. Oh my God.
What happened?
Ooh, look at this one. We're gonna wrap up on this. It's going old school. Dell's trying to bring back some. Oh man, Rugani, Boomsong, Ligrotalia, Andrade, Zabina, Melberg. You have to start too.
Well, I think we're going to say the same too.
Yeah, I think it will be Legrotalia and Melberg.
Ligrotalia, Melberg.
I would have said Rugani and
Legrotalia had a nice stint with Chiellini for a while there.
Yeah. This
And
past year,
Melberg
though,
was a Viking.
this past year and this one, I'd go Rugani and Melberg.
Oh, I'd go Rugani and Ligrotalia.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Melberg was like a Viking. I liked him.
Yeah, Viking.
I liked
there you
him.
go. There you go. Everybody,
the name.
wraps up the show. There was a comment about a watch along today. Unfortunately, no watch along work. But I tell you, depending how this game goes and while I'm watching it, none of the customers are going to want to deal with me. So yeah, they should be leaving me alone.
And we gotta remember two things. First of all, it's the early game. For me, it's 7:45 p.m., but it's not similar to last week. And
yeah, it's gonna be 9:45 a.m. my time, which means that in 2 hours 45 minutes this thing is gonna kick off. Okay,
I did not know that.
Yeah, so it's gonna be 12:45 your time, Ant. So just
yes, sir.
For one there, yeah.
And congrats to Fagioli, who yesterday had his 2-year since he started. Since he played for Juve.
Yes.
It wasn't his official debut for Juve. His official one was a month earlier in the Copa.
Yeah.
But this was his first Serie A debut, so congratulations to him. 2 years ago.
Yeah, and to many, many more with Juventus. Fagioli, been a little spark this season, so it's good. It's good. One of the positives coming out of the year, okay? Everybody, enjoy the game. Hopefully we have something to celebrate. You know where we're going to be tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, right back at it live, and hopefully we can get it done. Work is for the week. All right. Well, I'll tell you what.
And
share the content, get it out there. Let's get these subscribers fired up tremendously, and then I'll do all the watch-alongs you guys can ask for, okay? But until then, as always, fino alla fine, forza Juve. Let's hope the team goes out there and gets the job done, all right? This is a big one for everyone involved. Max, the players, Juve, financially too, moving further on in this competition. This is a big one. Let's hope they get the job done, everybody. Enjoy the match. We'll talk to you all tomorrow morning, all right? Ciao tutti.